I was so excited about getting Elaine Parker on today. Elaine Parker is the Chief Communications Officer of the Job Creators Network, and they've launched this great new initiative, 10 for 20. Go to 10for20.com. That's the number 10, FOR, the number 20. Don't spell it out, 10420.com. 10 for 20. Sign the pledge. And what the pledge is I pledge to drive 10 people to the polls on Election Day, and they want you to make a difference and sign that. And look, this is an election, it's not about persuasion. It's about mobilization. How do we mobilize? How do we get our people out? You know the Democrats are going to do that. We need to do that too. And that's why the Job Creators Network has launched 10 for 20. Joining us now to help us understand what the plan is and the vision, Elaine Parker, the Chief Communications Officer, CCO of Job Creators Network. Hey, Elaine, great to have you.
Hey, John. Happy Monday. Thanks for having me.
I know. We're really fired up today. We just launched a new daily newspaper in Virginia called the Virginia Star. And one of the things on there is the 10for20.com. This is a visionary thing that you guys are doing at Job Creators Network. Elaine, can you kind of explain what the purpose of this is and how this works?
Yeah, so we are really excited today. We are launching the largest conservative Get Out the Vote effort ever. We are enlisting the top conservative talk show radio hosts like yourself and other hosts across the country like Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Hugh Hewitt, Dennis Prager, just to name a few, all across the country to ask their combined 61 million conservative fans to pledge to drive 10 people each to the polls for the 2020 election. And what we're doing is we're reaching out to conservative Americans who care about the free enterprise system, their freedoms, and their way of life. Because, John, the fact is, the American dream is on the ballot.
I love the idea because Bannon and others have said they believe this election is about mobilization and not necessarily persuasion. So basically what you want to do is you want people to pledge, Trump supporters to pledge that they're going to get 10 people out to vote for Trump. Is that the idea?
10 people each, get them out to vote for Trump. And basically, if you can go to the grocery store and you can go pump gas, you can go to the polls to vote. But if you've got a grandparent or an elderly person who's in a nursing home or a assisted living facility and they can't get out, this site is a one-stop place that you can go for voting information, and you can help those people get their absentee ballot. You can go there and find out all the dates, everything pertinent for your district, for your precinct, where you're supposed to vote, when you're supposed to go, when early voting dates are, everything you can find out. And if you are somebody who cares about our free enterprise system and our freedoms in general and the American dream, then these are the people that we're trying to reach. You know, just think about it, John. If you've got 1,000 people that take the 10 for 20 pledge and they convince their 10 pledgees to follow suit, and those 10 pledgees follow suit behind that 3 times over, we've got 1 million people who show up to the polls to vote for conservative pro-growth policies. Elections, you got to remember, elections are won by thousands in the Electoral College, not by millions. And when you look at how close the 2016 election was, you know, President Trump won Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania by just 11,000, 23,000, and 44,000 votes, respectively. So this election could be even closer. And conservatives have spent the last 3.5 years just being beaten down by a constant barrage of negative media coverage, and they're ready to do something. And this gives them something to do. It's not a financial ask. This really gives them something to do so that they can make a difference. And this will make a difference.
Go to 10for20.com, 10for20.com, and sign the pledge there to make a difference. But Elaine Parker with us, the Chief Communications Officer of the Job Creators Network, you're absolutely correct, because if you look at some of these states, he also lost Minnesota by 1,000 votes, right? People forget that. He lost New Hampshire by 5,000 votes. So you put those 2 states in, you've got basically 5 states were decided by about 82,000 votes. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Minnesota. You got 5 states to sign up by a combined 82,000 votes, right? So you're right. We're not talking about millions, talking about thousands. And it's about getting people to the polls. Now, the Democrats are going to get all their people out. They're fired up. They want Trump out. They're going to drag him out, mail-in ballots, try to steal it. So we got to win the old-fashioned way by getting people out, right?
Look, John, this 10 for 20 campaign gives a call to action that can make the silent majority heard again. And it really leverages the enthusiasm gap between both camps. I mean, given how close the last election was, and you just heard the numbers, this is going to make all the difference in the world. It gives people something specific to do. We're not asking for money, but it activates them to take a personal role in the election. And that's what conservatives are looking to do. They want to protect their freedoms. They want to protect our system of free enterprise and the opportunities that this country gives people, because there's no other country in the world that you can have these kinds of opportunities and freedoms. And so if you want to vote in favor of the free enterprise system, you want to vote in favor of our freedoms, and you want to vote in favor of the American dream, and you especially want to vote to keep America, America, then go to 10for20.com and take the pledge.
10for20.com, take the pledge. I just did it myself. So I did it while you were talking. It took me, all of 35 seconds. So I went to the site and I did it. Now my pledge is I got to find 10 people. Here's the thing. You can't put down 10 people you already know are going to vote, right? You got to put down 10 people that, like my mom is 92 years old, right? She's in a long-term care facility. We're going to visit her today. It's her birthday, Elaine, by the way, 92, young today. And
Happy birthday.
You have to visit her. I know, right? She's 92, but you can't go in and see her, so we go to the window and talk on the phone. It's almost like you're talking to somebody in jail. But it's her birthday, so we're going to go and bring flowers in, have the aides bring it in, and then we talk to her over the phone through her window outside. It's kind of the way it works now. But so one of my pledges is, okay, I've got to get my mom an absentee ballot, and I got to, have the people hand it to her so she can fill it out and then mail it in. So that would be one of the pledges I would make, because under normal circumstances, that's going to be tough to do. So I'm going to try to find 10 people that normally might not vote, or I'm not sure if they're going to vote. Like, I'm not going to put down Ann or my next-door neighbor with a Trump sign, right? I'm going to put down 10 people that I can bring to the polls that under normal circumstances, it's not 100% they're going to go. That's kind of the idea behind it, right?
Yeah, 10 for 20 provides, the website will provide resources to overcome some of the most common reasons that voters don't make it to the polls. Like I said, it's a one-stop shop of information of where to go, when to go, how to get your absentee ballot, how to help some of your pledgees get an absentee ballot. There's step-by-step instructions demonstrating how your pledge can make a difference, reminding voters why pro-growth policies, including the tax cuts and deregulations, have made their lives better. I mean, we have experienced the greatest economy in the last half century, and we had this black swan event with the pandemic come through and shut down our economy, but we are getting back up and running. And those fundamental policies that brought us to such great prosperity, lowest unemployment with all demographics across the board, more jobs available than people to fill them, those policies still exist. And once we get this economy up and going, we know that we can get back to where we were. And when you think about it, there's scientific research that suggests that when people are motivated and committed, i.e. taking that pledge, they are more likely to vote. And the 10 for 20 pledge fulfills this criteria, and it can boost the turnout that's needed for Election Day and needed to keep America, America.
I want to say one other thing also. I got a text here from Den Black, who just signed up in Chesapeake, and Den says, John, emphasize using the number 10 and 20. If they use text, it will not work. So you want to go to the number 10 for the number 20.com, the number 10 for the number 20.com. You're good to go there. And you want to sign the pledge, put in, and as you say, this initiative, Elaine, 10for20.com, sponsored by the Job Creators Network. I mean, you're putting this out there, and you're using Trump's talk radio army as the vehicle for that, right? The main vehicle.
Absolutely. We're enlisting all the top conservative radio talk show hosts like yourself, Rush Limbaugh, all the names you can think of. And there's a combined listening audience of fans. These are fans, conservative fans, who are passionate and who believe in the values that make America, America. And we're going to give them something to do. We're going to get them to take this pledge. We're going to get them to recruit and find 10 of their friends and family members, churchgoers, who believe in these policies but might not necessarily vote. I mean, people may not know this, but we only had a 57% turnout of the electorate, of eligible voters. 57% turned out. So you're talking about just barely half of our electorate, people who have the right to vote, who are registered to vote, showed up in 2016. So this is going to be a huge turnout issue. And when you add in the Democrats and their allies in the media continuing to stoke the fear of COVID, there are people who are going to be afraid to go to the polls. But like I said, if you can go out and peacefully protest or not peacefully protest or pump gas or go to the grocery store, you can go vote. And if you are somebody who's in a nursing home or an assisted living facility and you've got a loved one there, then you can help them vote. And you can do that by absentee ballot. All of the information is at 10for20.com.
Go to 10for20.com, 10for20.com. The number 10 for the number 20.com. This is going to be an essential component, of getting Trump reelected. It's going to be very close. But I got to tell you also, Elaine, once again, the Job Creators Network on the cutting edge of stuff. I mean, your organization is unbelievable with the number of people you have. Is a handful of people. I mean, you make every dollar stretch as far as it can go. But what JCN has been able to accomplish in this past 24 months, starting with the tax cut effort you made, and then with the healthcare initiative, then with opening up schools, now getting involved with the campaign in your 10for20.com. I mean, it's amazing that your little organization has so much national impact. How do you guys do that?
We have the right message, and it's what conservatives want to hear. I mean, they understand that, tax cuts makes their life better, that they're able to keep more of their hard-earned money. They understand that, there's 30 million small business owners in this country. They employ 60 million people. I mean, that's a huge impact on our economy. And the reality is that because of this administration's pro-growth policies for the last 3.5 years, that small business has been driving this economy. Small business is going to drive us back out of this, the pandemic-induced recession. But we've got to get there. We've got to get there by people showing up to the polls and voting in favor of keeping America, America, voting in favor of getting back to the prosperity we wanted to see. I mean, it's no coincidence that we chose to start 10 for 20 today on the day that the Democratic Convention launches as well. Because this is going to, again, Americans are going to have a choice between what the far left is proposing and the American dream. And the 10 for 20 campaign is going to activate them to defend that American dream. And that's what we're trying to do, is give them something to do. The left is offering higher taxes and less personal freedoms and an end to our free enterprise system, an end to the American dream. If you think about it, John, Democrats have really become the party of can't. You can't open your business. You can't send your kids to school. You can't pursue your American dream. And the answers they have are, let's defund the police. Let's loot and riot and destroy our small businesses in the street, and let's have lawlessness. I mean, we are Americans because we can pursue our American dream, and we can have a free enterprise system that offers the greatest opportunities in the world. But we have to get out, and we have to defend that with our votes.
Action, action, action. This is what we told the president he had to do, and this is what the Job Creators Network is doing. And I love this because a lot of people say, well, how can I help, right? Well, give money. Well, those of us that are on the team in the text list, Elaine, I'm sure you're on it. I get probably 10 texts a day from the Trump campaign asking me for money, right? So you give money, then what? Then what do you do? How do you volunteer? I don't have time. This is something really easy. This is something that you can do in your home. You don't have to go out. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is sign the pledge. Go to 10for20.com, sign the pledge. Action, action, action. Here's how you get involved. Costs you nothing. You have to think of 10 people that you want to get to the polls to help Trump win. Right now, the majority of our listeners, we have a national audience, but they're in the Mid-Atlantic. You got Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland. You've got down to South Carolina. I mean, these are states. Get involved. 10 for 20. That's what you want to do. Go to 10for20.com. It's just 10 people. Make the pledge. And JC's got to follow up. They're going to hold you accountable to that. Any action you have to be accountable. Just like we tell our sons and daughters, you make a commitment, you have to be accountable to that. 10 for 20. Everybody brings 10 people and they go, what did you say? 3 times over, 3 times roll over? That's 1 million people, right?
Absolutely. And once you take the pledge, you're going to get an email from the 10 for 20 website encouraging you to learn the issues and to recruit 10 of your friends and family members to get to the polls and vote. And you can share that email with your 10 friends so that they can then share it with their friends. And, of course, you can put it on social media. I've taken the pledge to drive 10 people to the polls in 2020.
10 for 20. Go to 10for20.com, 10for20.com. Elaine Parker with us. Elaine is the Chief Communications Officer for the Job Creators Network. Elaine, does Job Creators Network with 10for20.com, do you have a goal in mind?
We want to defend the American dream. We want to defend conservative values, and we want to defend our free enterprise system. Job Creators Network represents small business, and we're founded by Bernie Marcus. He's the co-founder of the Home Depot. And while the Home Depot is a huge corporation now, when Bernie started the Home Depot, it was a small company, and he's not part of the Home Depot anymore, but he still considers himself a small business. He thinks like a small businessman, and he understands the challenges that small businesses face, and he has just been heartsick watching small business suffer through this pandemic. And having to be shut down. And he's very concerned about the little guy. I mean, we know that the Home Depots of the world are going to survive this pandemic, but he's very concerned about the little guy and whether or not they're going to be able to reopen and get back to where they were. I mean, we're seeing businesses close left and right. I mean, my daughter's best friend works for a clothing store up at the local shopping center, and they're closing. She was all excited to have her first job. Well, they're not going to be able to make it, so they're closing down. She's lost her first job. That's happening all across the country because of this pandemic, and so we've got to get our economy back open. We've got to understand that the American dream is alive and well, and we're going to get back there, and we can do that by defending the American dream and getting out there to vote. Go to 10for20.com and pledge to get 10 people to the polls to vote.
Go to 10for20.com, the number 10 for the number 20.com. Elaine Parker, Chief Communications Officer for the Job Creators Network. By the way, I want to tell everybody we had a conference call on Friday, all the small business owners that are a member of the Job Creators Network, and Vice President Mike Pence. Alfredo Ortiz was there. Elaine, I thought that was a great call. Great job with that on Friday afternoon, I think it was.
We're really appreciative that the Vice President took time to talk to our members and talk about what the challenges are ahead, to thank our entrepreneurs and our small business owners for doing what they do every day. He had some very wise words to share there. We talked to him about the 10 for 20 campaign. We talked to him about healthcare reform. He thanked the Job Creators Network and our small business efforts for what we've done. He said we were a top voice on Capitol Hill in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act fight. He understands that small businesses, when their voice comes together collectively, it is bigger and louder than any voice out there, and that's essentially what we did during the tax fight. That's what we will do on healthcare, and that's what we will do on the 10 for 20 campaign. Those voices will be heard, and we will make sure that they're heard.
Elaine Parker, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it. Go to 10for20.com. Once again, the Job Creators Network, the little engine that could and would and did out front of everything. Thanks for being with us, Elaine, Chief Communications Officer